Okay, everyone, let's continue on section 3, enabling connectivity in ACI. Okay, let's continue on fabric domains and VLAN pools, part 2. Let's continue configuring those domains. Let's start by configuring this physical domain SRV1. I am going to configure the interface profile, the switch profile, and we are configuring that physical domain SRV1 along with the VLAN pool. I am not going to go step by step on the switch profiles and interface profiles because that was explained on a previous video. If you still have doubts on that one, I suggest you go back and review that video, okay? So let's go ahead and configure SRV1, and then we are configuring SW1. Okay, so we're going to go into Fabric, Access Policies. Let me do a policy group for that SRV1. And we're going to make a VPC interface policy group, SRV1 VPC. We are selecting CDP. Let's enable CDP. And we are going to make a LACP port channel on this VPC. You know what? We are going to hard code the speed to 10 gig per interface. And let's go ahead and hard code it. Submit. Now we got the port group configured. Submit. So now we have to create a profile. Let's build a profile, SRV1, and we are connecting this server to SRV1 1.4, interface 1.4, and this will be on both leaf 1 and leaf 2. And we are associating this interface profile into the policy group SRV1 VPC that I just built. Press OK, submit. Okay, now we have that. Now we have to associate that to my profile, leaf profile. And because it's a VPC, I want to connect that to both a leaf 101 and 102. And let's associate this to this. Boom. So now we got that server 1 connected. Now, let's go ahead and build that physical domain. We're basically going onto physical domains. And let's create a new physical domain, SRV1 as our slide. And I am discussing the AAEP in the next video, and this is a very important setting that you have to know and understand. Let's go ahead and create that VLAN pool, and let's call this SRV1 pool, or we can say SRV1 pool, okay? You got two ways of doing it. You can allocate dynamically or static. Dynamic, it's going to select from the pool. If you associate endpoint groups or EPGs to this physical domain, you can grab VLANs dynamically from the pool. Static, I select specific VLANs that I want to associate to my endpoint group. And we mentioned that it was 100 to 102. Okay, click submit. Okay, and then we have a physical domain associated to the VLAN pool. We'll press submit, and we are good to go. Let's do the second physical domain. Oh, by the way, I have to connect everything. Okay, let's go ahead and create a VPC interface policy group for switch 1. We label this as SW1 VPC, right? Enable the speed, 10 gig, CDP policy enabled. The port channel, I am not going to use LACP because this switch is going to be configured in Ether channel, so it's going to be static mode, not LACP. So let me make a new one, and this time it's going to be a static policy. And then we just make sure that it's static mode on. If I want to have graceful convergence or fast select, I can just remove everything, press OK, and that's it. We have the policy group. Now we can build the profile for it, and we call this SW1 interface profile. We select the interface, and we're going to connect the switch in ports 1, SW1, port 5. So it's going to be 1.5. And interface ID 1.5. And associate that to my switch interface policy group. Press OK and submit. Finally, we have to associate that to the switch profile. Switch 1 interface profile, we just built that, associated our policy group. Press submit, and we are done. Physical domain, SW1, physical, VLAN pool. Let's make a VLAN pool, SW1 pool, static. And the range, 110 to 122. We can leave it inherit or static. Let's just use static on this one. Submit and select it, and we are good. Cool. So that's how you do a physical domain. Now, in order for us to communicate or to associate this domain to my leaf profile, I got to build an AAP. We're going to discuss AAP in a separate video because there's a lot of items, we're going to go through. Okay, so let's do our next. Our next will be a layer 2 out or external bridge domain. Right click, create layer 2 out, and we can say this, we are using the firepower scenario. And if you still don't remember or didn't understand a little bit how the layer 2 external bridge domain, layer 2 out works, so just go back into the first video for my fabric domain and review that particular section. We are creating another VLAN pool for it, and my fire domain, it's on VLAN 200 because it's a single VLAN for that firewall. Okay, submit. Now we got to firepower, VLAN fire pool, submit. Now we got a bridge domain, an external bridge domain that we can associate to an external L2 out. Okay, L2 out, remember, layer 2 out. We are connecting our fabric at layer 2 to another device downstream. In this case, we're connecting to our firewall. Finally, router domain, you remember we have our 7K. The 7K is doing OSPF and BGP to our branch offices. So the 7K connects to my remote sites via either SD-WAN or MPLS, and it's adjacent with BGP. So we got to make that router domain so then we can associate to my actual external L3 out or external router domain. Let's go ahead. We can say 2 and 7K BGP. And let's say if we're using BGP, we're just going to name this to 7K BGP so we know which layer 3 domain is this object referring to. Create VLAN pool, and we can say ext L3 out and 7K. Static allocation. We have a Versal and SVI. Let me go back and draw real quick so you can understand what we're working with here. So let's say we got our 7K here. We got a VPC, right? This is a leaf 1 and leaf 2 in an L3 out, and we are going to have a video dedicated to L3 out. I just want to show you for this particular demonstration so you understand why we're doing this. We want to allow a particular VLAN as our peering VLAN. I can call it peer VLAN. Basically, what it's going to do, we will have a VLAN interface or SVI with an IP of 10, let's say this is the scenario, 10.0.01/29, right? Leaf 1 will have another SVI, this layer 3 out for 10.0.02 and 10.0.03. The way that we are connecting or associating and allowing reachability between my L3 out to my fabric is with this VLAN interface. We can say, let's select VLAN 210. So VLAN 210 is going to have an interface here. It's also going to have an interface here. And basically, it's going to associate my L3 out using the peering address of this particular network. This 7K will have 10.0.0.1, leaf 1 will have 2, and then finally leaf 2 will have 3. And this is how they're going to peer either OSPF or BGP. Let's go ahead and configure it real quick. Okay, let me go ahead real quick here. 210, leave this okay, and submit, and boom. Now we got a layer 2, and now we also have a layer 3 routed domain. With this, I can associate that to an AAP, which then connects to my physical side of it. So let's say we have the 7K connected in leaf 1 and leaf 2 in port 10 with that VPC between the two. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a quick policy group, VPC, and 7K VPC, 10 gig. Those interfaces are 10 gig. We are allowing CDP, and this time we are doing LACP. We'll go ahead and press submit. Now we have that policy group, which is N7K VPC. I just clicked refresh and it showed up. Let me go ahead and create that lead profile. In this case, it's going to be N7K int profile, interface selectors, N7K 110, interface 110, associate that to my policy group. Okay, submit. Finally, if we go into the leaf 1 and leaf 2 leaf profile, we just associate that interface profile to. Boom. Connectivity has been configured. Now I can go ahead and connect that 7K up to my leaf 1 and leaf 2 port 10. Then, once we create the attachable access entity profile, or AAEP, we can then communicate the physical or the router domain. In this case, we communicate using the AAEP, the domain, to my actual interface. This is how the fabric glues together those objects, okay? Okay, and such, let's go ahead and configure that attachable access entity profile so then you understand how everything glues together, okay? So on our next video, we're gonna configure the attachable access entity profile. Okay, everyone, in our next video, we're gonna take a look at the attachable entity profiles. Thank you for watching.